Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about 8th Standard Social Science, History, Lesson 2, Development of Industries in India. Development of Industries in India, that is the heading of this lesson. How the industries were developed in India. Now we are going to discuss. First one, learning objectives. Acquaint with the traditional crafts of India. Second, analyze the causes for the decline of Indian industries. Third one, understand the beginning of modern industries. Fourth one, know the aim of 5-year plans. Fifth one, understand the phases of industrial development in India. So these are the topics we are going to discuss deeply. Okay. First one, introduction. The history of Indian industry perhaps dates back to the history of humankind. India's traditional economy was characterized by a blend of agriculture and handicraft. Our Indian economy was mingled with agriculture and handicraft. According to Edward Baines, the birthplace of cotton manufacture is India. So which is the birthplace of cotton manufacture? India is the birthplace of cotton manufacture, where it probably flourished long before the dawn of authentic history. Authentic history means we can believe. Bernier, who visited India during the reign of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, marveled at the incredible quality of manufactured goods. Tavernier, a French traveler, admired the peacock throne, carpets of silk and gold, as well as many carvings. So these were the important things or important goods. Very good example for the development of industries in India. So next, traditional crafts of India. Traditional crafts of India. The craft in India has a rich history. That is a very good example as well as rich history. Next, craft were an integral part in the life of the people. Craft were the integral part in the life of the people. Before arrival of mechanized industry, the production of Indian handicrafts was the second largest source of employment in rural India next to agriculture. So, first important source of economy was agriculture, second one is handicraft. The traditional Indian industry was known in the field of textiles, woodwork, ivory, stone cutting, leather, fragrance wood, metalwork and jewelry. So these were the important traditional Indian industries works in those days. Next, the village artisans such as potters, weavers, smiths produced articles and utensils for domestic uses. So some of the important things were produced by the producers. But some specialized goods were produced for domestic and international markets. So some important special products were produced for the import and export. Next, some such specialized goods produced were cotton textile, muslin, wool, silk and metal articles. India was famous for its fine quality of cotton and silk clothes. India was very famous for fine quality of cotton and silk cloths. There are reference made in many scholarly works to the professions of the weavers, the tailors and the dyers. So some very rare and important references about the professions of the weavers, tailors and the dyers. Certain centers of metal industry were quite well known. So important metal industries were those flourished in those days. For example, Saurashtra was known for bell metal, Vanga for tin industry, and Dhaka was identified with muslin clothes. So these were the places. Was very good example for the bell metal, tin industry, and muslin cloths. Okay. Next, the important topic is decline of Indian industries. Decline means downfall. Downfall of Indian industries or disappearance of Indian industries. The first topic is loss of royal patronage. Loss of royal patronage. Loss of royal patronage means loss of support from the government. Lot of support from the government. Okay. First, the British conquest transformed Indian economy into colonial economy. The economy was transferred into colonial economy by the British. As the British conquered the Indian territories one after another, the native rulers, the nobles, and the landlords lost their power and prosperity. So, after the conquered or conquest of British in India, the local landlords, rulers, as well as the nobles lost their power and prosperity. The demand for the fine articles to be displayed in darbars and other ceremonial occasions disappeared. As a result, the craftsmen who were patronized by these rulers lost their importance and became poor. For generations, these craftsmen had been practicing their craft and they did not possess any other skills. So they had to work as laborers in fields to meet their daily needs. This change resulted in increased pressure on agriculture and there was large scale underdevelopment or unemployment in agriculture. The substitution of commercial food crops in agriculture ruined the Indian agro-based industries because the splendid period of indigenous handicraft industries came to an end as the political influence of the East India Company spread over various parts of the country. So, after the arrival of British or after the conquest of British in India, there were a lot of changes in the life of the Indian people. The rulers lost their dignity, power and prosperity, and the workers, they also lost their employment opportunity. The unemployment was prevailed and a lot of changes in the activities of industries in India. So next topic is transition from producers to exporter of raw materials. The Indian lifestyle was totally changed. That means transition from producers to exporter of raw materials. Okay. Indian handicraft that had made the country famous collapsed under the colonial rule. So after the arrival of British, the famous of our country was totally collapsed, especially in handicraft industries. This was mainly due to the competition posed by the machine-made goods that were imported from Britain by the British rule. So there were a lot of productions imported to India by the British on the basis of the machine-made goods. The ruling British turned India as the producers of raw materials for their industries and market for their finished products. India was utilized by the British as two important things. One is producers of raw materials. Second one is marketing place. Moreover, the railways and roadways introduced by the British facilitated the movement of finished products to reach the remotest part of India, and the procurement of raw materials from these parts. So, the transports were introduced by the British in India that was utilized to take the finished products to the remotest places of India. Next, competition of mechanized made goods. So next topic is competition of machine made goods. Textile was oldest industry in India. That was oldest. Textile was oldest industry in India. The highly specialized skills of Indian weavers and the low production cost gave a tough competition to the European manufacturers. First one is the special skill of Indian weavers. Second one, low production cost. That was very tough to the competition to the European manufacturers. It led to the invention of cotton gin, flying schedule, spinning jenny, and steam engine in England. So these were the important machines invented by the Europeans and invented to India, which made the production of textiles on large scale. Large scale means more. Indian became the market for the finished products of Britain. India became the market for the finished products of Britain. As a result, peasants means farmers who had supplemented their income by part-time spinning and weaving had to now rely only on cultivation. Their lifestyle was totally changed into the agricultural field, so they lost their livelihood. Moreover, the Indian goods made with primitive techniques could not compete with industrial goods made in England. The products of Indian goods that not match with the foreign goods. So that was a very tragic time of Indians because they could not stand and they could not compete with the foreign goods. So that was a very tragic time to the Indians in the industrial field. Okay, next topic is trading policy of the British. Trading policy of the British, that was made a lot of changes in the life of the Indians. So okay, first one, all the policies implemented by the British government. Implemented means introduced and worked out. Implemented by the British government in India had a deep impact on India's indigenous industries. That made deep impact. The policies of British made deep impact on the India's indigenous industries. Free trade policy. The Britishers followed free trade policy followed by the English East India Company, compelled the Indian traders to sell their goods below the market price. That was compelled. The Indians must sell their goods below the market price. This forced many craftsmen to abandon their ancestral handicraft talents. So that situation created to the craftsmen to abandon means leave their ancestral handicraft talents. East India Company's aim was to buy the maximum quantity of Indian manufactured goods at the cheapest price and sell them to the other European countries for a huge product. They want to buy the Indian goods as a cheap rate and they want to sell their goods as a highest rate or huge profit. This affected the traditional Indian industry. That was very much affected the traditional industries of India. The British followed the policy of protective tariffs that was much against the trading interest of India. The policy of British, that was policy of protective tariff, that was very much disturbed the Indian interest in the trading field. Heavy duties were charged on Indian goods in Britain, but at the same time, the English goods entering India were charged only nominal duties. That was the great disparity in the industrial and marketing field. The heavy duties were charged on Indian goods in Britain, but at the same time, the English goods entering India were charged only nominal duties. Okay. Next, deindustrialization. Deindustrialization. That was a disappearance of industries. Disappearance of industries. During the first half of the 19th century. Which time? During the first half of the 19th century, Western countries were experiencing industrialization. India suffered a period of industrial decline. They were experiencing industrialization. They were very well versed in the industrial field. They enjoying lot of privileges in Indian industries, but Indians were very much suffered a period of industrial decline. The process of disruption of traditional Indian craft and decline in national income has been referred to as deindustrialization. That increased the decline of national income in the industrial field in India. The national income also very much affected by the activities of the British in India. The Indian domestic industry could not have withstand foreign competition. The Indians could not stand before the activities of British in the industrial field, which was backed by the powerful industrial organization, big machinery, large scale production. So these were the important causes for the decline of the Indian industries in India. What are they? One is powerful industrial organizations, big machinery. Third one, large scale productions. The difficulties in Indian industries was complicated further by the construction of Suez Canal. That was a main problem in Indian industries, because of which transport cost was reduced, which made the British goods cheaper in India. The main cause for the decline of handicraft industry was the greater employment opportunities and the income generating effect of the modern factory. So the arrival of modern factories or introduced or established the modern factories by the British government in India, that was a great drawback to the indigenous industries. Indigenous industries means native industries in India. The arrival, the establishment of new modern factories, that was a great drawback to the Indian native industries. So the native industries or the indigenous industries were disappeared in India. Okay, that's all. Today the class is over. Remaining topics we will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you students.